Is it now? The time is now 9 a.m. We will call to order the meeting for the mayor and city council for the city of Statesboro, Georgia. The date is August the 5th. We will have our invocation and pledge of allegiance by Councilmember Paulette Chambers.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come before you today with grateful hearts for the opportunity to serve our city and its people. We thank you for the responsibility you've entrusted to each council member, and we ask your guidance in every discussion, decision, and plan that will be made here today. Grant us the wisdom beyond our understanding, clarity in our communication, and humility in our leadership. Let fairness and justice be the foundation of every policy, and may the needs of the people be placed above personal interest or gain. Unite us with purpose. Even in times of disagreement, help us to listen with compassion, speak with integrity, and act with courage. Bless this city with peace, prosperity, and protection, and help us to be good stewards of all that you placed in our hands. May everything we do here today honor you and benefit the community that we serve. Amen. Amen. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That might have been the most topped out prayer that I've heard in the council chamber. That was all right. That's gonna motivate me a little bit more this morning. All right, everything passed. We going home. Yeah, absolutely. So we'll go down to agenda item 3. Leah, do we have anyone sign up for public comments?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. We go down to agenda item 4, which is consideration of a motion to approve the consent agenda, which includes the approval of our minutes from our July 15th council minutes. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we're going to go down to agenda item 5, which is the second reading, consideration of a motion to approve ordinance 2025-04, ordinance amending chapter 82 of the Statesboro Code of Ordinances to remove language concerning water and or sewer charges for customers and not utilizing the services, and to replace city engineer with public utilities director. Is there any further insight you can give us on this opinion?
No, sir. It's a matter of just cleaning up some language and replacing the name, and also removing a requirement to charge for services that people don't necessarily, that's available to them, but it'd be really hard to collect on, so we recommend approval. Change.
Thank you, Mr. Penny. We'll go down to agenda item 6, which is consideration of a motion to approve resolution 2025-20, a resolution to authorize the public sale of real property and the holding of a public hearing relating to the construction. Oh, my bad. I told you everything was passed already. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Man, that prayer got too good to me this morning. Yeah. Consideration of a motion to approve resolution 2025-20, a resolution to authorize the public sale of real property and the holding of a public hearing relating to the construction of a new fire station for the city. Mr. Penny, any insight you can give us on that?
Yes, sir. Mayor, and the council, several weeks ago, we had a discussion about the financing for fire station number 3. In Georgia, Georgia law is sort of funny on how we can finance things. And in this case, we would have to have some type of authority, or we could work with GMA. And so what we're recommending to you in order to make this thing work out smoothly is that we work with GMA to be able to finance the construction of the fire station. What it means, and I will say John Purnell is our bond counsel, is on if you have any questions. But what it means, in order for us to be able to do this, we actually have to sell the land or transfer our land over to GMA. After we finance the construction of the fire department.
Recording stopped.
Over a period of time, what would happen is that property will revert back to the city of Statesboro. There's some things that we need to do going into the future, but don't want to spend a lot of time this morning that would provide us the vehicle, that when you want to finance something, we're not dependent, and not the GMA is not a good partner, but our other option was either to go to the county and use an authority that they have, but we have to get their permission. And so the city of Statesboro in the future might want to look at creating our own vehicle, so that as we need to finance stuff, we can do it without being dependent on anybody else. But for today's purpose and in order to be able to meet the timeline that we're talking about, what we're recommending is that we work with GMA. And in order for us to do that, it is going to require a public hearing. Can't do it today, but we have to advertise it, and it'll be at the first meeting in September, I believe. First meeting in September, and John, if I get anything wrong, don't mind, don't worry about interrupting me. But this is just that procedural step. But based on what we're recommending to you, we can meet the timeline that we talked about in order to get it financed, get it designed, and actually open that station by the end of June 2026. So we recommend that you would proceed and schedule the public hearing for the financing of the new fire station.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penn. Any discussion by council?
I was a little concerned when I read it had to be a public sale. I thought, well, what if somebody else shows up and buys it? But I saw the language that they actually have to agree to give it back on our terms.
Yeah, it'd be hard for somebody else to be able to do it. We had that same conversation before, and our council said, you'll be okay.
All right, thank you. All right, with that being said, is there any further discussion by council? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Let's go down to agenda item 7, which is consideration of motion to accept a right-of-way deed of 0.638 acres on Brainerd Street for the construction of a new street to serve the new fire station. Number 3, Mr. Penn.
Mayor, members of the council, if you remember when we also had the conversation about the fire department, the construction of the fire station, we have our land, but in order to really make this work out well, we need an improved street. And so in this case, it'd be a cul-de-sac, and in this case, the property owner is Mr. Robbie Franklin is transferring this property to us in order for us to be able to make that improvement so that it will better serve us. It'll serve other folks in the future, but for our purposes, we needed this property, so we're not paying them anything for the property, but we will make that improvement. And so this is to cover the legal aspect of receiving the property, and we do recommend that you receive this property, Mayor.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penn. All right, anything from council? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll move on to agenda item 8, consideration of a motion to award a contract to EMC Engineering Services Incorporated for design and professional engineering services for a new access road for fire station number 3 in the amount of $41,000 to be paid from T-SPLOST funds. Anything you can add to that, Mr. Penn?
Now, you gotta build the street, so we have to design it, so we recommend approval of this engineering contract.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penn. Any discussion from council? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second? Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. We move down to agenda item 9, consideration of a motion to award the renewal of the city of Statesboro general liability property and casualty coverage to travelers in the amount of $1,330,939 and the renewal of the city's workers' compensation coverage to Bidco in the amount of $561,507. These policies are shopped out to available markets by assured partners and will be for a term of 1 year. Mr. Penn.
I can't really add anything, we can't live without insurance. We think we have a good deal, and we recommend approval to you, man.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penn. Any discussion by council? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second? Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Move on to agenda item 10, consideration of a motion to approve a memorandum of agreement between the city, Bullock County, and the Federal Aviation concerning the installation and use of FAA-owned navigation, communication, and weather aid facilities. Mr. Petty.
But this is just a renewal of existing agreement, and we recommend approval.
Thank you, Mr. Petty. Any discussion by council? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, if you will, let's take a look at agenda item number 11. Consideration of a motion to award a 4-year contract to revise, provide a comprehensive website for the city of Statesboro in the amount of $36,100 for the first year and $12,200 for the last 3 years for website support. If approved, this will be funded out of the contractual services fund and central services. Mr. Petty.
Mayor, members of council, I think, for my 6 years since being here, one of the discussions we've always had is about our website. And so, we went out for requests for, qualifications for, someone to, redesign our website. We received, I think, 9 or 10 proposals. Committee reviewed it, narrowed it down to 3. And so this morning, what we're recommending is to award the contract to Revise. Revise will then go into redesign of our website, and that will probably take about 6 to 8 months to get it done, and get it implemented. And then not just redo our website, but then to maintain our website. So therefore, we're recommending a longer term, which would give us about 4 years. The one thing that I just questioned, and I asked Jason last night, we need to make sure that in our contract, the contract that's signed, is that we always have an escape clause just in case non-performance or something of that nature. But with that being the case, we would recommend award of the contract to Revise. I know Lane would be really excited to get started because this has been a pet project that she's been wanting to get done for her 5 years. With 5 years she's been in the city, but we do recommend it to you this morning.
Thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council?
So, Mr. Mayor, I'm sure if we're getting it redone, it's gonna be more user-friendly and more intuitive, more accessible to folks who are trying to find information.
Much more accessible, mobile friendly, all the above.
Thank you, Lane.
All right, thank you. Any further discussion by council? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's move on to agenda item 12, consideration of a motion to award a contract to History Yale Materials Handling Incorporated for the purchase of a History H50A lift truck for First Source Well Corp. Our corporate purchasing contract in the amount of $37,104. This item to be purchased with funds approved in fiscal year 2026 CIP budget. Items WWD-208 and NGD-110 funded by system revenues. Mr. King.
The only thing I would say is that I think we got our money's worth out of the last forklift that we bought. It's 34 years old. and so it's about $1,000 for every year of that piece of equipment, so we would recommend approval there.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council? All right, seeing that there's none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's move on to agenda item 13. Consideration of a motion to approve the purchase of the 2026 PAC-MAC KD-20 grapple loader truck for the Public Works Streets Division in the amount of $225,624 from Samson Equipment Company for a Source Well contract funded by 2023 T-SPLOST funds. How was fun to say. Mr. Penny, anything you can add to that?
Yeah, well, Mayor, I just want, this tells how old I am. I remember when we first started buying these knuckle boom loaders, you could buy them for $65,000. and now we're having to pay over $200,000 for a piece of equipment that without it, our folks would be in dire straits. our community, our neighborhood would be very unhappy. And so we do recommend that approval of the acquisition there.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council? All right, seeing that there's none, the motion shall
Can you get something they want to they can drive?
Yeah, do we need like a special license? That and a forklift.
We're gonna take y'all out in the parking lot and let you and John have it.
Lord, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second, John?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, guys. All right, so we're gonna go down to agenda item 14, consideration of a motion to approve a task order in the amount of $31,500 for Atlas Technical Consultants for Phase 1 and limited Phase 2 environmental site assessment for the ENG-123C, West Main Street, Johnson Street, MLK Drive intersection improvement project to be funded by T-Splosh funds. Mr. Penny.
Yeah, Mayor, members of the council, we've got a big project that's gonna occur in that West Main Johnson Street area. But as a part of some of the property that will be involved in it, we need to do Phase 1, Phase 2 on those properties. They were not included in the original contract. And that's what this is for. And so we do recommend this change order in order to have these Phase 1 and Phase 2 studies done on it's not every property. I think it may be about 3 or 4 properties that we need to do that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Penny. All right, any discussion from council? All right, seeing that there's none, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right, we're gonna move on to agenda item 15, consideration of a motion to approve a task order that amount of $33,200 with Cranston LLC for design of a new city parking lot at 45 West Main Street as part of the ENG 92 West Main Streetscape project to be funded by T-Splosh funds. Mr. Penny.
Mayor, members of the council, a couple of months ago, maybe 3 or 4 months ago, you approved the acquisition of that lot where the headstones used to be. And so what we're talking about is we have lots of work to do on West Main Street. And what will happen is when we start to work on West Main Street, we're going to actually displace the parking in about 33, 34 parking spaces on West Main Street from College to whatever that crossing street is. Or going all the way to South Main. So we're going to displace that parking. And so with this contract, we need to design the parking lot that will occur where the monuments used to be and where we have a building that's going to have to come down. And that will yield us about 34 parking spaces, but we also got to make sure we're designing something that is environmentally friendly and with trees and all that good stuff. And so this contract will help us do that. And I will also just simply say to you, in the long run, once the West Main Street project is done, we've got 34 additional parking spaces with the improvement of this lot. But I also continue to remind you that going into the future, as downtown develops, although this may be a parking lot today or in the next few months, if development starts to occur in our downtown, you might actually want to reconsider that being a parking lot and make it as a building. If a private developer came in, we want to put a building there. But for now, we recommend the additional parking at that location and recommend approval of this contract.
Thank you, Mr. Penny. All right, any discussion from council?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Penny mentioned environmental concerns, and I'm happy to share with the rest of the council that I'm assured that that's going to include the possibility of permeable parking, something that's not just creating more runoff and more concrete in the city, that we can hopefully make it something that others can look to and know there are more environmentally friendly ways to continue to grow. So I certainly hope we're able to do that.
Thank you. Any further discussion by council? All right, seeing that there's none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, moving on to agenda item 16, other business from city council. Any other business from city council?
Mr. Mayor, I don't know if anyone else wanted to mention it, but I did want to just highlight and remember Joe McGlamory, who has been quite a contributor to our community for his 80 years. I met Joe, I was working at Statesboro Health, and he came there to replace Don Key as the publisher and executive director. So I've known him a long time. I remember when he used to make dedications over the radio to his girlfriend, who was my classmate at Statesboro High School in the class of 1967. And he would make romantic dedications late at night over the radio, which everybody swooned over. It was so nice to have a college guy who was in love with you and doing it. So Joe was a mighty fine fellow. Will be missed in this community, so I says love and comfort to Susan and Nancy and everyone who knows.
Thank you. It's amazing children. All right, anything else from council? All right, seeing that there is none, we'll go down to city manager's comments. Mr. King.
Mayor, members of the council, I wanted to call your attention to the FYI packet. First thing, I met with Chief Tim and I met with Chief Tim last week just to go over a proposed new schedule for firefighters. Okay. And I thought it was important for you to be aware of what is being proposed. Right now, our firefighters work on a 24-hour shift. But what Tim did was put together a team, a committee, to look at different work schedules, and they considered about 3 or 4 different work schedules. And so what they're looking at, and we're actually advertising this because it makes a big difference to a lot of folks. That we're like doing 48 hours and then off 96 hours. The actual time difference is the same as if it was a 24-hour shift. But instead of working one day and then being off 2, and then have to come back to work, you'll work 2 days, be off 4. And then the way it works, it's easier for them to plan with their weekends with their families. And so I just wanted y'all to be aware, because sometimes y'all hear stuff from employees, and I didn't want y'all to all of a sudden start getting calls from folks about, they're changing our schedule. You have it in front of you, and it's been worked on by a committee, and when you look across the country, we're seeing folks make these kinds of changes to their the firefighters' work schedules. And so I just wanted you to be aware of that. Second item, last week, and I don't normally do this, but I went to a school board meeting, and in a discussion about the millage rate for the school system. And Mayor, member of the council, as I shared with y'all, I spoke on behalf of myself as a citizen, but really felt that it was important just to share that the one thing that, even though we tend to work in silos in our community, we do our city stuff, the county does their stuff, school system does their stuff. But all of these things really fit together. And it's what builds community. And the thing about building community, when you think about why people move to our communities, people with children, decide where they want to live based on the quality of the school system. And the one place that we cannot afford to be cheap is with the education of our children. And when people are looking at Statesboro, you got a lot of developers building a lot of homes in our community, apartments, but they want people to live in those apartments. But if people are looking out and people will rate school systems, and I'm not telling you what's right and what's wrong, I don't know, but the thing is that people read that stuff. And then they decide whether they want to live in Statesboro, Richmond Hill, Rankin, all of those things. And the one thing we don't want to have happen to Statesboro is for someone to decide that they don't want to live in our community because they don't think their child can get a good education. And so I felt it was important enough, and even though my oldest daughter is 41 and my youngest son is 35 years old, they never lived in Statesboro. But it's important enough that we not be in a position that we have to start laying off teachers. We start hurting our education of our children. And so I just, y'all might decide Mr. Penny would step out of line, but I believe this is an important enough battle to step forward as a citizen of this community. And I just wanted to use this morning to say that, so what the school board has done, the superintendent recommended not adopting the rollback. Now, recognize the rollback for the school system, they've been rolling the taxes back, I think about over 11 years. So we've had all this growth in our community, but this school board has been rolling those taxes back. And they've been able to sustain that. And now what has happened to our school board is because of, and this is interesting, because of the wealth in our community in Bullock County, they have penalized our community for having increase in our assessed value of our property. And so to a tune of almost $6 million. And then House Bill 581 caused another $1 million loss to the school system. So they're down about $8 million. And so Charles Wilson, superintendent, was doing a projection, and they have a healthy fund balance. But as he was explaining the fund balance, unlike us, we have utilities where we have people paying utilities every month. So we have good cash flow and all. So we have different business models that help us. But in their case, they just have the taxes. They don't run any other utility. They just have the taxes. And in order to fund their monthly payroll, they need that substantial fund balance in order to be able to pay their employees. If not for that, then they'd have to go out and do some type of financing in order to be able to pay their employees. And so when people look at that and simply say, oh, they got $45 million, but they also got one of the biggest payrolls in Bullock County, and they have to be able to pay their people. And so what they did at that meeting is the superintendent recommended a 10.4 millage rate that would not completely wipe out and I hate to say deficit, but the shortfall. There'll be about $3.5 million short. And he could have recommended 4 mil, but trying to find middle ground, he did the 10.4. And so they're advertising that. And so now they're going to have 3 public hearings. And I think they have a public hearing on the 14th, and then they have 2 on the 21st. One that morning and then one that evening at 6 o'clock. At 6 o'clock, the school board can vote to finalize that millage rate. And again, my intention is to be there. And as a citizen, to say we need to support our schools. And so I just wanted to share that with you this morning. Anybody listening on Facebook, and I know people don't like to pay taxes. Nobody likes to pay taxes. I don't like to pay taxes. But in this case, when it comes to our children, we have to do what we have to do. And I'll stop at that and say, y'all can let me know if I was out of line, because my evaluation is coming up. But I just want to share that with you this morning.
Quick question on that. They're proposing to raise 3 millage points,
Yeah,
and that would bring it up to 10.4.
10.4 million. Yes. And John, whenever I first got here, their millage rate was actually higher than ours. But because they've been rolling it back, they're now below us. I think the rollback was like 7.4 something. Now, different from us, 1 mil for us will only raise $1.1 million. 1 mil for them generates 3.8 million.
Anything else, Mr. Steve?
No, that's it, Mayor.
All right, we'll go down to public comments. Are there any public comments? Okay. All right, we'll go down to agenda item 19. Is there a need for executive session?
Personnel.
Okay. All right, if we will go, consideration of a motion to enter into executive session to discuss personnel matters, in accordance with OCG 850-14-3D. Is there a motion to go into executive session? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. All right, we will.